Right, we're live.
Perfect. Do you want to run it, Jack, or do you want me to?
You can run it, it's fine.
All right, cool. Have you done the comments to pop up at certain times, or is that?
No, how'd you do that?
Right, fine. I think it's on. Yeah, so like that, you see. So if you go into that comments bit on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
and then just type like the first category in, that makes sense.
Okay.
And hopefully it should pop up, and then we can obviously just discuss it. But yeah, welcome anybody who's joining. We're just going to give it a minute to let people join if they're free. This is our third or fourth podcast, I think. I think me and Lanra have been involved in all of them so far.
This is the third one still.
Yeah. I think it was just me and Lanray before, and then we had me, Paul, and Lanray. And then it's obviously now, I think this must be the third one to say, so it's just us three. So yeah, we're going to get into the Premier League. What's going on at the moment? I think I was looking earlier, there's some teams have played 25, some have played 26, some have played 27. So we're going to look at, I suppose, how the table's looking at the moment and see. I know last time we spoke, that was the first one we did about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, was when Arsenal were. Right, let's get onto this. Let's get straight into this, Lanners. I'm going to let you go first. Can you see that?
Yeah.
The Arsenal looking frightened in front of goal at the moment without Nketiah. Is a title secured for the Gunners?
No. Title's not secured. I'm going to give you my answer that I've given you in the past, 2 podcasts we've done. My heart's telling me we can do it. My head is like City and Haaland are just relentless. Like, they should have won 3-4-0 against Palace. Haaland had chances to score, missed them. But what you don't do is give Haaland 3 chances in a game because he will surely bury one. And Nketiah, everyone knows my opinion on him. He's not my favourite go-to player in the squad. But Trossard, man, what a signing, man. Like, false 9, he's floating in and about. He's doing basically what Jesus is doing. But Trossard is more of a winger. But whereas Jesus is more of a number 9, but he's still... So, like, we're not really missing Jesus at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Because Trossard is doing so well. And, I mean, the game against Fulham, mate, I mean, we were just outstanding from start to finish, from back to front. We had a few shaky moments with Aaron Ramsdale, but the guys just outperformed and absolutely tore Fulham to shreds. 3-0 in the first half. I would have liked us to get more goals in the second half, obviously for the goal difference. But can't complain. 3 points and 5 points clear of City. So we've got big important games coming up against City, Liverpool and Palace. I think if we beat Liverpool, then my head is going to be like, okay. But that City game at the Etihad is the title decider for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass over to Jack and let him go as well because he looks like he's smiling under that moustache.
Yeah, no. The thing is, Lamry said the City game's a decider. I think it depends every game, either side of that game more than anything. Because if we go into that game 5 points clear, it doesn't matter as much. But say we go maybe 1 or 2 points into that game, there's going to be a lot more pressure.
Yeah.
And we've still got to go to a lot more places like Newcastle, like he said, Anfield. Even like the small, like I mean, there's even games now after just about scraping it against Bournemouth. Games like Palace next week, it's not guaranteed we're going to go and beat them.
I mean, the form they're on right now.
Yeah, but it's just such an Arsenal thing to then go and get. Because the thing is, we don't even have to lose to them. We could get a draw against them, and it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think the thing for me as well, I know obviously it depends on the player sometimes for me, and I think someone like Trossard, like as a winger going to play in a false 9 when you're not used to it, seen it in the past with a few players try and do it, and it makes me wonder sometimes whether if you were playing a team where you needed someone to step up and score a goal and get the ball in the back of the net, as a number 9 would, I know Jesus does it a little bit, that kind of false 9 role really well, but he's also got that finishing element to it. I'd just be interested to see if he played someone different to Fulham, or maybe even different to Palace or something like that. If he played like one of the top 6, if he'd still do a job up there instead of Nketiah. Obviously, they're different roles slightly, but it'd be interesting to see. I think obviously Jesus came on, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, good to see him come back on. I think he should have scored with that chance he had. I think he knows himself. He should have scored, but I've got to cut him a bit of slack. It's his first game in 3 months after the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I've got a bold suggestion. Obviously, we've got Florian Balogun out on loan, who's killing it right now. So big him up. I would actually cash in on Nketiah and let Balogun become second choice.
Yeah. I think you were looking to do that as well before the Jesus injury. I know West Ham were interested about 30-35 mil. So obviously, he was at Leeds as well on loan before that. I don't know, Leeds.
We should have taken it. We should have taken the money.
Yeah.
I just, again, Nketiah is not. I don't want to say he's not Premier League standard. I think that's a bit harsh. I don't think he's Arsenal standard. I don't even think he could be second choice right now. Because every time I've seen him play, other than West Ham and a few games he scored in United as well, other than those 2 games, every time I've seen him on the ball, he doesn't look comfortable when dribbling on the ball. It's very static and it's very Peter Crouchy, very trutchy on the ball and stuff like that. So you need someone that's confident and who believes in their ability, which I'm sure he does, but you also got to feel for him because sometimes he just doesn't get enough game time for him to get a consistent run of games for him to be a consistent scorer. But where this season he's had 8 games in a row and he scored 2 goals. We need more from him. Do you know what I mean? And if you're on 100k and then wearing number 14, that number is not no small number. That's a Thierry Henry number. That's a legend.
Yeah, no, I think I agree, but I don't think he's good enough in my opinion. There's obviously, I think he did
take him out West
Ham? Yeah, only because he's young. He's obviously not a prolific finisher, but we've got Antonio, and he's the furthest thing I think from a prolific finisher you're ever going to see. He's started his career at right back for Sheffield Wednesday, so he's definitely not a finisher, but he's just a bit of a menace, I think. I think with Nketiah, you've got a better finisher than Antonio is, so I think he's definitely going to be an improvement as such. But I just can't see Arsenal selling Nketiah. I don't know why. I know Balogun coming back will be good, but
I think right now Balogun's ahead of Nketiah. If I was Arteta.
Yeah, but then Arteta has got to show a bit of loyalty as well. I think that's I saw. Sorry, I'm going to go to a slightly different topic here, but I saw an interview the other day with Gary Neville and Roy Keane and talking about loyalty and showing players that obviously they mean a bit more because they've been at the club, they've played well for the club and stuff like that. It was Roy Keane and Neville talking about Scott McTominay and Man United. When Casemiro signed, all the fans were saying, why are they not getting Casemiro straight in? Why is McTominay still starting? And they were struggling, especially in those few games when Casemiro first signed. I remember seeing him on the bench, I think, when it was Brentford game. And they got popped 4-0 and everybody was kind of going mad, getting on the pitch. But I feel like Arteta's quite a loyal manager. And I think Nketiah has not done him wrong in this period.
No.
So I don't think he'll offload him. But as you just said, Lamre, if it's 35 mil, you can't really not offload him.
Yeah, you have to take that all day.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for someone who's still not a finished article in terms of being a striker, I think.
100%.
Jack, should we move on to the next point?
Yeah. Next point, because I ain't got it down the notes. It's to do
that's
with,
fine. I've got it. So the point 2 is about the Casemiro. Was it a red card? Was it not a red card?
Well,
And any faults maybe at the time of when you saw the incident, and then faults of the slow mo.
first look at it, red card.
Yeah,
red. Like his studs were up, but then when you look at the slow mo, he's got a bit of the ball before he's got. Is it Pirro that he fouled? Pirro's shin.
yeah.
But it's just a mere fact that his studs were up, so it's endangering a player, and he rightly deserves a red card.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, no, I think that's the problem though. Is if he do get any of the ball, no one's speaking about it. So because he caught, like Lamery said, he caught a slight bit of the ball. I've seen challenges where they've done the exact same thing. It's an endangerment to the player, and they've not given it. Like the one against Felix the day before. Same challenge. They didn't even give a yellow for it.
I think that was worse as well.
More than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree, Matt. Because I've obviously played the game to a very kind of minor level compared to what they're playing it at. But as soon as you make that tackle, and I think sometimes referees think, they subconsciously know that the opportunity is there for if the foot hits the ball and the foot comes up, it clips straight in the calf, or it can endanger an opponent. But at the time, people like Casemiro, them sort of holding midfielders, all they want to do is win the ball back. He's not thinking subconsciously, if I slide like this, it's going to bounce up and do this. And I think I've seen a lot of tweets from Arsenal fans and United fans on Twitter and stuff. And I personally think that Man United fans are starting to feel how Arsenal fans felt for the last couple of years with Xhaka, because the treatment that he got over probably not even yellow card tackles sometimes to the normal player. Casemiro is doing certain things. I think there's been 4 players I read today that have grabbed someone by the throat, including Haaland, after Casemiro grabbed Will Hughes by the throat in that Palace game. And he didn't really grab him. He kind of just, they were mucking about after and they were laughing and stuff. But there's been 4 players. And I think with Xhaka as well, it was the same thing. Like Arsenal fans knew as soon as the ref either went to VAR or as soon as the ref clocked who had made the tackle, Arsenal fans all the time were like, he's gonna send them off.
Already.
Like now with Casemiro, it's the same situation, I think, because I read, obviously a different game, but I read today he didn't get 1 straight red card in 9 seasons in La Liga playing for Real Madrid, and he's got 2 red cards since September or October when he first played the first game, which is absolutely mental to me.
It just shows the difference in levels between leagues. La Liga is a lot more technical and a lot more about possession based. Premier League is fast, counter-attacking football. So with him, I think he's adjusted, but he's just sometimes a bit reckless. Like he didn't necessarily need to slide in to make a challenge. Like he could have made a standing tackle to try and win that ball.
Yeah, I hear it. I know what you're saying. I think it's one of them ones, isn't it? I think if it was Declan Rice for me, being a West Ham fan, I'd probably say it wasn't a red. If it was against West Ham, I'd want him sent off. I feel like it might be the same for you guys. Like if it was Xhaka, you'd probably say, but worse to yellow. Like obviously not intentional. He didn't go in at that height. The ball's he's come off the ball and it's kind of changed the trajectory of his foot. So it's one of them ones. I do think it's a 50-50. I think I'm on the fence with it, to be honest. Like, as I say, if it's my team, red card. If it's my team, it's not a red card. If it's against my team, I'd be screaming for a red card.
But the referees have to be consistent.
The
referees are not consistent, and that's the problem the Premier League's having, especially when you know they go to VAR. You know already that you know the outcome.
Yeah, I think
initially with the tackle, he gave a yellow card.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if I read right, Lanners, as well, the guy who was Andre Mariner, who was doing the VAR for Anthony Taylor on Sunday in that United game, was the ref the day before for the Chelsea game when that Felix incident happened, and he didn't give a red card there. So he's obviously seen literally exactly the same tackle twice. and he's given 2 different outcomes. So it's not even as if like I was in VAR one day and you was refereeing the next day, like 2 completely different minds. This is the same guy who's been qualified for 10 plus years in the Premier League.
Well, do what they did to Mason and just get rid of him. Because if you can't make consistent decisions, you're affecting the game of football.
Yeah. And I saw when that happened with that referee, Lee Mason got chucked out, and I think Bobby Madley as well. There's a lot of tweets around, right, that's 1 gone. There's like now 2025 still to go. Because nobody believes in the quality of the Premier League refereeing. Because like when you go to a Euros or a World Cup, you have what, 2 refs maybe?
Yeah.
They have like 4 or 5 refs.
And who is it? Mark Oliver.
Yeah, I know, exactly. He used to have like 4 or 5 referees.
Yeah, no, it's just dropped.
2 guys, yeah. But yeah, let's leave that. So Lana's saying yes, red. Jack saying yes, red. Me saying on the fence. Not sure still. Right, we'll go on to point 3. Could be chopping and changing between points here, but what I wanted to discuss mainly was how Liverpool fans must be feeling coming off the back of a 7-0 drubbing of United to then losing 1-0 against, I can't remember if they were bottom. They were either 19th or 20th when they played Liverpool.
They were 19th.
Now. How does that happen? Jack, we'll go to you.
The thing is, Liverpool been like this all season, if we're being honest. In terms of Bournemouth, though, it's not. They've had these sort of games. Like against Arsenal, yeah, they did lose 3-2 eventually, but they went 2-0 up against Arsenal. I think they did the exact same thing to Spurs. Obviously, they end up losing that game, but they put in performances against the big teams. I think it's just one of those games. If Mo Salah's penalty goes in, it changes the whole game.
Yeah, I agree. Lanas?
I mean, that's the beauty of the Premier League. Like, anybody can beat anybody. No matter what position you are in the table. You've seen it with Southampton beating Chelsea. Yeah, we know we know Chelsea's situations with players and manager and Graham Potter. But I'm telling you, possibly like at least over half of the Chelsea fans were believing they would get 3 points against Southampton, but they ended up losing. Liverpool beating Man United 7-0. Don't think we were thinking United's going to lose 7 Premier League. And then they go to Bournemouth the following week, lose 1-0. Mo Salah misses a penalty. It's like you can't write this. This is why the Premier League is the best league in the world, because any team could beat anybody. When we played Bournemouth last week? I was thinking easy 3 points, quick 3-0, and we move on to Fulham. I'm at work stressing and cussing and swearing and everything because we're 1-0 down after 19 seconds. And then we're 2-0 down. But then it's like with us, just go back on Arsenal, with Arsenal, you know, like this season especially, the fans have been amazing, just supporting the boys, no matter if we're 1-0 down or 2-0 down, they're always pushing the boys. If this was a couple of years ago, like under Emery, the stadium is flat. And the players can't feed off that. And they feed off the energy and the vibe of the crowd. But, I mean, I wasn't expecting Liverpool to lose. I was expecting them to win at least 2-0.
Yeah.
But again, as Jack said, if Salah scores that penalty, the game changes.
Yeah.
I still tip them. I still tip Liverpool to get top 4 over Tottenham.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate. Steve, I've just seen your comment in the chat, mate. We spoke a little bit about it a minute ago. We're going to come back to it at the end. We're going to just summarise at the end with our top 4 predictions. I do just want to give an update and let you boys know that Haaland has just scored 2 in about 3 minutes against Leipzig. So it's looking interesting for City at the moment. I think it's just popped up on my phone. He's got 30 UCL goals at 22 years old.
What's the record right now?
100
and
yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I think like
Ronaldo's got 120. I wouldn't be surprised if Haaland beats that.
Mate, 22. What's he got? 10, 11, 12 years maybe still to go. 34, cap it maybe. So you got what? Mate, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All he's got to do is... still a lot though, isn't it? Think about it. Still got to get 90. Oh no, sorry. Haaland scored 2 goals within 1 minute just now. So yeah, I think
he's an absolute goal machine, man.
I think let's stick on I suppose towards the bottom of the table for now. We won't spend too much time on it because I think it's a bit of a boring subject, mainly because my team's down there at the moment. But I do think it's slightly boring. I prefer looking at the top end of the table, seeing Arsenal up there. It's nice to have a different team to the past couple of years anyway. The City, the Liverpool. And I quite like it as well because it's not one of them Leicester things. It's not as much as Arsenal didn't look great last year. They've not done a Leicester in the sense that they've actually got top quality players. I think the team's playing a lot better than I think it probably did last year, obviously. But a few new additions and stuff this year, they look quality. But I'll just start. I know the other week we mentioned, and Lanners and Paul were both saying about, obviously Southampton have got James Ward-Prowse with a free kick, set pieces, penalties. West Ham have got Rice and Bowen. Bowen's not really firing at the minute. Rice is looking a bit poor as well.
Rice's head's gone.
Yeah, he's not been great, mate. I think he's going to Arsenal, to be honest.
I'll take him any day of the week.
Yeah, I think Declan Rice would go to Arsenal, but it wouldn't be the worst move in the world for a West Ham fan. I think if he went to Chelsea, it would be.
It wouldn't make sense for him to go to Chelsea, especially when they've just spent 120 million on Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
So I think his options are only. Do I say only Arsenal? Possibly.
I do think Chelsea's an option.
I don't
move Enzo further forward.
But I don't think Enzo's technically gifted to be pushed further forward.
I think they could even put Rice further forward. When Souček's been sitting for West Ham and Rice has been playing in that kind of 8 role.
What, as a centre mid or as an
8? So not a 6. Not a 6, as an 8. Yeah, I think Rice he's definitely skillful. Like in terms of ability wise, technically he's definitely good enough. But it's whether or not, because Chelsea's going for a transition anyway. So yeah. Rice would definitely need a year not playing to a level that he'd want to be at. I think he's obviously not a Lampard or Gerrard type player. He's not that good in terms of being a CM. I mean, they never will be. But I do see, when I see him for West Ham playing CM, I do see a lot of traits that he could take forward to Chelsea. But the problem is, if Chelsea then do get Rice, they got Kante coming back as well. So
I think Kante's finished. I don't think he's going to sign a new contract. I think he's at the summer. Kante, and a couple of, I think he's time's up at Chelsea.
I was hearing that they're going to slot him back into the 6 and then let Enzo go and play 8.
But again, I don't think Enzo's gifted enough to play the 8.
I don't know.
I disagree. Some of the passes I've seen him play this season, especially again, I think it's the West Ham game.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the thing is with him as well, every time I saw like a clip or something on Twitter or YouTube of Enzo and stuff like that, like YouTube highlights and whatever, it wouldn't be like highlights from like 10 years ago. You know, like you used to see like Neymar when he was like 10 years old, like kicking the ball out. It'd be highlights of like that current week and him taking the ball forward and smanking it into the top corner.
What, in the Portuguese league?
Yeah, in the Portuguese league, but it shows that he can actually play there. And I think for Argentina, a couple of times he played there when McAllister got either taken off or he went and played next to him, and they brought Paredes on to play holding. I think he can do it, but I don't know. I just hope Chelsea don't get Rice. I really do. And if they do, my brother's a Chelsea fan, and I'm sure I won't hear the last of it. So, but yeah, all I was going to get onto with that, boys, is who do we think are going down? So there's just over 10 games to go. I think some of the boys down there have got 12 games, some have got 11, and then some have got 10. I think one's got 10 maybe. Who do we think is going to get relegated from the Premier League?
I think it's very hard because from 12th to 20th, it's like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah,
it's not much bigger than that. Like Forest, I thought was safe, and it just shows a couple losses, and it's
just back down.
Still fine. like teams like Palace and Leicester, they feel like they're too good to go down, if that makes sense. Where
But
teams like Forest, they're just an easy get out.
Yeah. Do you think West Ham are too good to go down?
I do. Compared to some of the other teams.
100%. But then you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Because games against like Villa, you should be picking up 3 points, especially at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You shouldn't, like, considering where in the position you've been in the past few years, especially in the table in terms of Europe, to now slumber to almost relegation is not even progression. It's a decline. And I think you need to sort out a lot of positions in your squad in terms of proper striker, a winger on both sides. Well, Bowen can play on the right or left, but you need another winger that can challenge Bowen.
Yeah.
And then probably proper 2 good centre backs.
If you just said 11, mate, you'd have been closer, I think. When the problem is though, is that what happens in football is when somebody's like Declan Rice gets sold and he's like the biggest player for our club, being West Ham, is if you sell him, I know this isn't going to be the amount he goes for, but especially if we go down. But say we stay up, he goes for 150 million, say, right? Which is
ain't getting 150.
No, I'm just saying.
You're getting 100 max.
Say he goes for 150 million. If you go out and say to Southampton, I want to buy James Ward-Prowse, like obviously they know already you've just sold your most prized asset, your best player in Declan Rice. If we still had Declan Rice, we're in a better position financially, even though we've got that money from the transfer for him, because we could go to Southampton and say, we'll give you 30 mil. They'll come back and say, no, 35 or 40 or don't talk to us. Whereas if you get 100, 150 mil for Declan Rice,
they want 65.
They'll want 65, exactly, because they know it's like when Liverpool sold Torres to Chelsea, and then on deadline day they went and got Andy Carroll and had to pay 40 mil to Newcastle, and they were like, "You've got money. You literally just sold Torres for 50 mil to Chelsea, so we'll have 40 mil for Andy Carroll," exactly. And that will happen to us. We'll be in a sticky situation. But I'll tell you now, we as West Ham will be in the stickiest situation in the world if we go down, because we got players like obviously Rice, who will probably go for about 40 mil if we go down. If that, you've got Paqueta, who I think is a level above. He's not played too well, but he's a level above West Ham. You've got people like Ben Rama, who started playing well recently. Obviously Bowen, Bonner, has played in the Champions League for Juve, is obviously getting on a bit. Zuma.
What would you do if you actually go down?
What's that?
What would you do if you actually get relegated?
I've had it once before, mate. To be honest, I wouldn't be overly. I don't know. Sometimes
playing Millwall on a Sunday.
Millwall are in the playoffs at the minute, I think, in Championship, so they couldn't even be coming up.
I don't think they'll ever come up. They're like a Luton, bro. Luton and Millwall always in the mix, but when it comes to crunch time, they just fold.
Yeah, and it'll be weird as well. Imagine for the first time ever we could play them. When a long time we could play them in the league, and then they win the playoffs, but we actually get relegated, and then we just went and just swap positions. I couldn't be that. I've got a few Millwall acquaintances, not friends, that I know of, and they messaged me this week actually, and were saying about that situation kind of happening if they won the playoffs. And we got relegated. We as West Ham would not hear the last of it. But yeah, my prediction, I'm going to shoot for it, to go down would be, I think Bournemouth still, I think Southampton, and I think Wolves. And it's weird as well, because I watched Wolves the other day, and some of the players they've got, like the ability of some of them players, should be like top 8. Like you've got Paulo Sarabia, who they bought in from PSG, who I thought was class even before he joined PSG. You've got obviously Jimenez, who hasn't really been the same since his injury, but he's still a top player. I think Neto's out injured at the moment, but he's quality. They've got Podence. I quite like Semedo right back, who they've got. I think they're centre 4, to be fair.
Neves in centre mid.
Yeah, Neves. They got Moutinho's getting on a bit, but he's still class. And then they've even got that Nunez as well, Mateus Nunez, who is class as well. So that team on paper, people are saying, said to me in the week on Twitter, and if West Ham go down, that could be one of the best teams ever to go down. I'm thinking, if we go down, their team's better than ours. So no one's really talking about
it. It's the same with Leicester.
What's that?
It's the same with Leicester as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And they're definitely...
Where does Madison go if they get relegated?
Aston Villa.
Be serious.
I think he goes somewhere like Villa. I don't think he gets in the top 16.
What?
I generally don't. He don't get in Arsenal. God.
He gets in Tottenham's team. Let's not do that.
Yeah, Tottenham don't play a cam. Tottenham play 4-3-3.
Well, it depends if they're still there, but he definitely gets in Tottenham's team.
He gets in their team, but he doesn't play the way they play. I don't think that's the problem.
They'll get in a Newcastle team.
Yeah, but this is the same thing. Like that, I don't think they play that position because they have Max there, they have Wilson there, and then they have Almiron there, and then they have Guimaraes and
Joe Linton.
Is it not Wagstaff? Is it
Longstaff?
Longstaff, yeah. So in terms of like player for player, definitely, but I don't think he does. I don't think he does get in any top 16.
Do you not think he can play on the right? Because he plays there for Leicester, and he sort of like drifts inside.
Yeah.
Then what? He's more of an inverted right mid.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like, this makes me question how good he actually is sometimes. Like when someone's that good, I think people make him out to be such a good attacking midfielder, right? His return on goals and assists isn't even that good. I know he plays for Leicester. But then I think to myself sometimes, people always say, could he not play on the wing or as like a wide midfielder? If he could, and he was that good as an attacking midfielder, you'd change the formation. Like, you really would. Like, to fit him in the team, I just don't think he improves any of those teams. Like, if you go to Tottenham, he doesn't get in Tottenham's team because they don't play the formation, so it doesn't work. Arsenal.
Let's say Conte leaves and they get someone like Poch in. Don't you think Poch is going to play him?
No, because it doesn't matter because they've still got Son and Kulusevski and Kane, so they're not going to change that.
Well, if Kane leaves,
he's not right. Let's go on to this from Steve Evans here. Steve's commented for us. You guys think Kane will leave?
It depends what's more important to him: trophies or being an Alan Shearer, one club man, breaking records. If I'm Kane, I'm going to United.
Yeah, but is that for money or is that for trophies?
The trophies, because they've just won a Carabao Cup. When did Tottenham last win a Carabao Cup?
Yeah, that's true. So you're thinking more for silverware and more for when it comes to the end of your career, you've got actual things to look back on rather than just your individual.
Like, we've all played football, and do you know what I mean? It's like you don't just want to be known for your goals. You want to be known for. You want to show your grandkids the medals and stuff, and he ain't got no medals right now. He hasn't got medals. All he's got is top four. We used to celebrate top four.
Jack, what do you think?
Yeah. He has to go to United, I think, because there's no other team really that can compete for him, if we're being honest. City probably, but no, they've got obviously Haaland. Otherwise, he has to go abroad. But I just don't know what team would be that interested in him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think he's going abroad either.
No, that's what I mean.
No,
Bayern apparently said if it comes down to, because obviously he's got 12 months left on his deal. So apparently Bayern have said if it comes down to 6 months, they will try and get him on a free in the summer.
Tottenham have to sell him this summer, though.
Tottenham has to cash in. It's like, how much of Tottenham? What's the price Tottenham are giving? You know Levy, bro. Levy's going to be out here saying, "Yeah, I want 100 million, 150." Are United really going to fork up 150 or 100 mil? I don't know.
100 million is reasonable.
Like 80, 90 million plus add-ons, but to give it, Levy will want everything straight in cash. 100 mil. Yeah, he's had opportunities to sell players like Son when they were at their peak for like 70, 80 million. Didn't. Signed a 5-year deal. Silly. Kane, what, 2 summers ago, was meant to go City. Signed a 6-year deal. Stupid. Now he's here winning nothing.
Do you think Kane's not worth 100 million, even on a 12-month contract? Because personally, I think he is.
Yeah, he is. Because he just guarantees you goals. You know what you're getting from him. You know what you're getting from Kane is max 20, 30 goals a season.
That's why I don't think
imagine Kane. That's crazy. Imagine Kane, Sancho, and I don't know, Rashford. Them as 3. That's scary for any defense. So if United are serious about challenging for the title next season, you go and spend your money on Kane, or you go spend 80 million euros on Osimhen.
Do you know what I'm thinking though? I think I agree with both of you. I think Kane goes to United in the summer because the thing that was making me question it before was that he wanted that all-time Tottenham record. I think he's now. I just looked. He's now 4 clear of Jimmy Greaves, so he's got that in the bag already. In terms of Premier League goals, he's not going to go abroad. He's definitely not going to go abroad because of the fact of what Jack just said. You've got Premier League top scorers list. If you're that close to it,
what's he on?
I'll have a quick look. It's not like 10 goals or anything, but he's not far off it in terms of if he has 2 good seasons, I think, or 3 good seasons, he could cement himself. I think let me just see, Premier League top scorers ever. Yeah, so you got excuse me. So he only needs 5 more goals, okay, to catch Wayne Rooney in second. So he's got 203. Rooney's got 208. But then Shearer's got 260. So he needs 57 more goals to catch Shearer, right?
Why has he got to be a Tottenham player to almost break a record? Why?
Well, is he really going to score 57 goals in 2 years at Tottenham?
Mate.
No. If he plays for United,
he's on 25 now in a dead.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but that's
if
what I'm
Haaland
thinking.
weren't in the league,
that's what I'm thinking. Though, but this season, obviously, he's got 10 games. What can he finish on in terms of Premier League? What's he got in the Premier League? 20.
20, I believe.
20. So he could get to 30. Say he scores a goal a game. He's then on 213. What's that? He's 37 behind Shearer. So he could
smash that in 2 seasons.
He could do that. I genuinely think if Harry Kane signed for Man United, he could do that in 1 season.
Oh my God!
The way they play, the amount of goals they score, and when they score, like mate, the amount of chances I see Weghorst have. He must have 4 a game, like clear cut, easy. And when I say easy, I mean like I only play a crap Saturday League standard at the minute, but I'm a striker, but easy, like horrific. Like when I look at it and I think,
sometimes you have to sign Craig up, man.
Nah, mate. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, if Landers moans about Jesus missing, imagine if he had Weghorst up top. Like, honestly, it would be murders.
No.
But
I wouldn't even come on the podcast. I'll do a day and not show up to anything.
I think just to finish on that point, I think if Kane wants to go, he's going to go. If he goes to United, I think he could get 30 plus goals.
But then the question is, does Levy let him go?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. I think he
lets him go.
I think he does now. Obviously, he's had the chance to recently. I think he's had 2 windows now where there's been rumoured to be bids. I think the one before there was a rumoured City and United bid, and then the latest one there's been a rumoured United bid. I've never actually seen a bid put in for him, I don't think. But there's always been that rumoured bid. There's never been breaking news. Man United bid 100 million for Kane or anything like that. It's always been like a Sky source has informed us that there's been a bid in that. So whether he's actually turned them down or not, I imagine he probably has done because he wants to keep the best players there. But you can't stop someone doing what they want to do at the end of the day, especially if they've got that much magnitude at the club. He literally is Tottenham Hotspur at the minute. And you wouldn't want to lose him because of that, but then you wouldn't want to upset him and ruin his legacy that he's made. He's your all-time top scorer. He could have gone 3 years ago. I think he's got to bite the bullet and just kind of just pass him on to United. I think.
I think it's his last opportunity as well. That's the thing. To sell him for something big as well.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll move on. We'll move on to our last point. I think I'll just pull up what Steve's asked earlier. We'll do this as kind of a prediction for our top 4. And then, Lanners, I don't want to hear this head and heart nonsense. I want to hear this Lanners thinks. I want to hear Lanners thinks this. Right, so we'll give Lanners a chance to prepare himself to give one answer and not 2. We'll pass over to Jack to start.
Obviously, number 1, number 2 is definitely going to be Arsenal City. There's no doubt.
No, don't go particular order. If you give one,
mate, I'm not going to duck the question.
Go particular order then.
We're going to go Arsenal City, and then I think United will get 3rd, and our 4th is really between, I believe, Liverpool and Spurs. But I think Liverpool might, because they've got a game in hand. I believe. I think Spurs have to go to Anfield as well, so I'm going to go Liverpool in 4th.
Lanners?
Oh man,
You prepared yourself?
Right. Arsenal first. God, don't let me down, please. Arsenal first, City 2nd, United 3rd, Liverpool 4th, Newcastle 5th, Tottenham 6th.
Okay. I'll go. I might as well make it a bit spicy in here. I'll go City first.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'll go Arsenal 2nd. I'll go United 3rd, and then I'm gonna go Newcastle 4th.
Newcastle top 4.
Yeah, I've got a feeling, mate. I don't know why. I've just got a weird feeling like I've seen their record they've got for the upcoming fixture list, Newcastle, and I've just got a feeling like they've got a few teams down the bottom towards the end of the season. A few teams like like mid-table sort of level, like Palace and stuff like that. And I feel like them teams, they've got the 40 points or they've got that nearabouts 35 plus points. They're not playing for anything. Like Villa and Palace and Leicester, well, not Leicester even. Villa, Palace, Fulham, it's kind of like that. And just as I say, City are going to win the league, Haaland's scored a hat-trick. So I think that's timed quite nicely, actually.
He's unreal, man. He's
ridiculous, isn't it? I can't believe
it. What's his total goal tally in all comps? Like, what, almost?
I think it's 36.
Yeah, he's about to hit 40.
Either 36, 37.
And do you want to know what's crazy as well? It's just popped up with a stat on my phone. It says Haaland has just scored his 5th hat-trick of the season. Season, only in March, and there was a bloody break for the World Cup. He's got his 5th hat-trick of the season tonight. We split for a month in November, December, month and a half. He's come back. He's got another hat-trick. Do you think... Right, we'll finish with this question. And then we'll come back, hopefully next week, boys, if you're both free. What I'm going to say here has been asked quite a lot, mostly in the Sky Sports studios and stuff after the games for City. Do you think City are worse or affected at times against certain teams than they would be with or without Haaland? So, like, I think they had a game, they were struggling. I can't remember if it's Palace or something, and they basically sat back 11 behind the ball. And where he's so good at getting in behind, a lot of the correspondents and pundits were saying he can't come and play short and drop the ball off and lay it off and build up and stuff like that. He's got to be directly attacking the ball at the goal. But if you've got 11 men behind the ball, he can't do that. Do you think, obviously with Aguero, it was all kind of nice flicks. He was a bit kind of Suarez-y, wasn't he? Like clinical, skillful, like very, very good on the ball. Haaland's a different beast. And I find if he scores 1 goal in a game, he'll get 2 or 3 or 4. But if he doesn't score in the first half or whatever, he's going to blank. And I feel like that could affect him towards the end of the season. I don't know if you both agree.
I don't think so, because there's the games where he hasn't scored in the first half and he just popped up. Like Arsenal, for example. He didn't score in the first 45 minutes. what happens? He just gets a touch on the left foot, hits it with his right foot. He knows where the goal is. This guy's a pure bagsman, as we like to call our strikers, like Rodney. You know, he's a pure goal scorer. It's ridiculous. A hat trick again today. And he's on 37 goals in all comps. He could definitely hit 50. The only players that have ever done that is Ronaldo and Messi. I think Mbappe's done it like once, but that's obviously PSG and that's a farmers league. He's doing it in the best league in the world, and people were doubting, can Haaland really make a difference? When he missed that sitter against Liverpool in the Community Shield, everybody was laughing at him. You just looked at him in that game, and you just saw that wasn't going to affect him, because he's like, I'm just going to destroy all your defenders and score bare goals, and that's what he's done. And I think he could be the difference for City to possibly win it.
Okay, Jack.
But I think Pep needs to stop tinkering with his team and play his best team and go for the treble, because they're still in FA Cup.
Personally, I don't think that to say they're a worse team is a very strong statement, because I'm pretty sure if the points they've got now, if it was last season, I'm pretty sure they'd be top. So if anything, it does Arsenal disservice because of how good they've actually been. But regardless of nearly close to 40 goals already, you can't really say. And the thing is, City have actually have improved in the way they actually play. Since the World Cup, Grealish has improved massively.
And I think that is Haaland scoring because of Grealish. Because Grealish carries the ball, he knows when to pass it off to Haaland, he knows when to cut inside and give the ball to Haaland, he knows when to go on the outside and cross the ball. So it was just about timing and making sure the cohesion.
Sometimes
teams need to adapt to them certain players.
Exactly.
I think let me just finish with this last one then, because this can be made into a clip quite easily, Jack. I think, but it will be quite good as well to edit, I think. So, Lan, as you mentioned it just then, mate. If you're playing Arsenal, say you're Man City, right? You're Pep Guardiola. You're playing Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Who do you play in your front three?
It depends on who Arteta is playing on fullbacks. If he's playing Zinchenko and who's usually right back? Ben White.
Let me ask you.
No, I'm not playing Tommy Asu that game. I'll go Grealish, Haaland. But then, I don't know. With me, I might do something strange. I might do a 10 and then 2 up top. I'd go Haaland and Alvarez up top.
Yeah, right. Let me run that question back. You're Pep Guardiola.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who they're playing at fullbacks. You're playing 3 up top. I'm telling you're playing 3 up top. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be your left wing and right wing to accompany Haaland up top?
Mahrez and Grealish.
Jack?
I'd have to go Mahrez and Grealish, to be honest.
Yeah, I was hoping someone would have said something different, but
You're thinking Phil Foden.
No way I'm saying Phil Foden, mate.
I'm in agreement. I think on that.
I'm not playing Phil Foden on the wing. Phil Foden can't play on the wing.
No, I think he can play on the wing. I think he's good on the right.
You can't play Phil Foden on the wing. I've been telling you, man, for so long. He can't play on the wing.
He's better at 10, I'll admit.
10 or an advanced 8. You can't play Phil Foden on the wing. It's just not going to work. He's just going to get bodied off the ball.
Yeah, it depends.
The guy's like a feather. I'm like a feather.
Yeah, but he played right wing against Newcastle, and that goal he scored.
That's Newcastle, bro. Like,
did you not see that goal?
The only thing that benefits him playing off there is his agility. He doesn't have any upper body strength. If anybody with muscle barges Phil Foden, that guy is going flying, and it's peak. He's basically and I don't even play football anymore.
About strength as a winger, I don't think. Mahrez isn't strong. Messi's not strong.
Nah, Messi's got something about him though. Messi's jinky majinky. Like
Yeah, he's got balance. He's got that
no matter how hard you try,
He's got it as well,
he
though.
was out here. He was out here not making Jerome Boateng in a new camp and chipping Neuer. Like you can't compare Messi on a flank. Messi was just a different
No,
breed.
I'm not comparing them as such. I'm comparing the body types. Like if you used to have like I won't go Messi.
Don't get it twisted. Messi's strong. Do not get it twisted. Messi is strong. Messi is strong. Trust me, bro.
He is strong.
I don't think he's strong. I think he's.
I've seen him fend off Rio Ferdinand in 2011 in the Champions League finals to score a banger, mate.
Yeah, but everyone can have that moment. I'm sure one day.
You still have to do the action. You still have to fend off the defender. Rio Ferdinand ain't no slouch.
No, I'm sure if one day Paul didn't eat his Weetabix, I might be able to catch him off balance as I'm running through on goal. But no, I'm thinking to myself, like, there's not many players at the moment coming through like Foden. Like, obviously, you got Grealish. I think he's definitely better suited to left side and doing that kind of shoulder drop, cutting inside and shooting, or playing a ball through to the far post like he did against Chelsea when he cut outside and whipped it to Mahrez. But I think Foden's now being a bit held back because I think Pep sees what Lana sees and he wants him to play at cam, but he doesn't play a central attacking midfielder at the minute. And I think that's a big problem as well.
So what do you do if you're holding? If
you're I'll be gone to La Liga. I'll be gone. As we were saying, lads, he could in La Liga he could get away with playing an 8. We said this the other week.
Yeah.
Because it's less strong. It's less physically demanding. It's all tech if you're playing in an 8. I've seen so many players like playing that 8 role, and I think, how do you get away? Like Koke, like he's playing 8 all day. That guy, and he's obviously a little bit stronger. He's obviously a bit stronger than Foden, but like people like Foden's height, all playing in that role in that league. Whereas if you come into our league, you've got a Nana playing in an 8. You think you're going to put Foden in there with him? Not a chance. Not a chance. But yeah, I think that was good, boys. I think that was good to catch up and get a few points out there. And I think we spoke well. I think the only thing I would finish with, talking about 8, 9, 10, 11, is Jadon Sancho going to be successful in the future? And at the moment, does he suit the 10 role after how he played at the weekend?
I think he is. I think that's his best position because at Dortmund, yes, he was on the wing, but he'd like to link up the play. He can't really do that at United. It seems he's not a traditional winger either. He doesn't seem to beat his man as well as some other wingers. In the 10, he can make those passes.
But how come I used to see him beat players for fun in Bundesliga?
Yeah, but it's a different. You can they play such high lines.
Like the guy still has the technical nous. Like what I've seen Sancho do on the pitch sometimes is, bro, it's absolutely outrageous to the point where I'm like, if I'm that defender, I'm not coming back on the pitch. I think with him, it's a confidence thing as well. Like he needs to have that full belief in himself to be like, yo, bro, let's be real. Anthony is dead food. I don't want to hear about Anthony's a baller. Anthony is dead food. That guy is a dead baller. Yeah, cool. He's got a bit of flicks and tricks, and he can curl a ball in the top bins. But you have to have a lot more to your game than that. You need to be more disciplined defensively. Against Liverpool, how many times did I see Anthony walk back? Not even jog back, walk back.
Yeah.
If Ten Hag wants to make Sancho a successful footballer at United, he has to play Sancho in the 10.
Yeah, I think
he doesn't play him in the 10. Okay, cool. So you're gonna sell him. Who's gonna buy him? And for how much are you gonna try and sell him for? With Sancho's wages? Because how is Garnacho ahead of Sancho in the team right now? Other than the personal reasons, how is Garnacho ahead of Sancho in the United team? I don't understand how. Obviously, Garnacho is a very good player, but Sancho should have that number 10/left wing solidified because he's that good.
Yeah. I think with the Sancho situation, with that playing in the 10 role and stuff, when like what you're saying there, with the confidence side of things, with Sancho's confidence, it comes as well from, as you said, when you make a mistake, and you're confident, you know it doesn't matter that you just lost the ball, because the next time you get the ball, you're going to do a madness and you're going to stick the ball in the back of the net, or you're going to flick the ball to the far post, and whoever it would be at the time, it used to obviously be Haaland, but it would be Weghorst or Rashford would be flicking in the net. Probably not Weghorst, but
look at the difference in quality that he's playing with now.
Yeah, but then, as I say, like when he gets his confidence back, I think he will be a serious baller again, because the confidence, as you said, Len, is key for a player like that. Not every player needs it. I think some players can dig in and just kind of get through it. But when his confidence is affected and his first few tricks or first few skills haven't come off, or he's losing the ball a little bit too much, he can get on his own back, I think it looks like. The rest of his performance, if he starts off bad, just kind of goes downhill.
That's what you kind of expect from a top player, especially a top player with his stature and with his ability and what he's achieved. You put that pressure on yourself. You don't always necessarily need the manager to put that pressure on you. You apply that to yourself.
Yeah, agree. Right, boys, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, man.
That was good. I think we can get quite a lot out of that, Jack. I'll get on tonight and download the file, and we can get cracking.
Don't make me look crazy in any of the clips.
I'm already doing it.
Flipping heck, mate.
I'll tell you, Jack's going to make me look crazy is by comparing me to when I compared Messi to Foden.
I didn't do the way. Okay, do you see these men? Yeah, I didn't compare Foden to Messi. Yeah, Messi's the best baller to ever live, to ever kick. But Foden, ability-wise, one of the best young talents I've seen kick a ball. He just needs to play in the right position like Sancho.
Yeah. Be interesting, man.
Clip that.
All to play for. Yeah, clip that. Clip that. All right. I think when you end it, Jack, it will still keep us in here.